I'm Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power, and coming up next on WAYO 104.3 FM LP Rochester will be the
What
sound
is
of
it?
tomorrow. I threw myself off because I said 104.3 instead of LP. Coming up next on WAYO LP Rochester is the sound of tomorrow. I've remembered the name of the program that we do every week on this very WAYO station.
This is a disaster already.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. I'm suddenly overheated and very flustered.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about bad habits. We're going to be talking about phobias. We're going to be talking about tampons, which I think is probably the hot pick Ross told me he had. I think that's tampons.
Yep.
But first.
Hey, what you doing?
Oh, just doing some cleaning.
Good, because, whoo, boy, do you sure make a mess.
Me? I'm cleaning under your chair. It's chaos down here. Chaos.
I think you're exaggerating.
There's food under here and money.
You know I don't believe in banks.
Or vacuuming, apparently.
Oh, yeah, and give all my money to Big Hoover? No, thank you.
Well, you're going to have to start sorting your own messes around here. I mean, what do I look like? Your mother?
A little bit, now that you mention it. Like, just around the eyes.
Hey.
Oh, no, not because they look old.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah, just because you both wear way, way, way too much makeup.
I wear a perfectly reasonable amount of makeup. And besides, I find your makeup shaming tasteless and inappropriate.
No, I mean, you're okay. That's fair. You are absolutely right. I mean, who am I to judge if you get your makeup at Sherwin-Williams? Or if your bedding looks like the Shroud of Turin.
I'm not even sure that one entirely makes sense.
I am workshopping it. Oh, and just so you know, anything you find under there is mine.
Under my makeup?
No, under the chair.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so good to know. So here's approximately $3.18 in loose change.
My life savings, all tax-free. Take that, Uncle Sam.
And let's see, cookie crumbs, assorted.
There's today's lunch, all set. Thank you.
Let's see, squirrel, deceased.
Squirraldo! My old friend.
I regret to inform you that he's been gone since roughly 2014.
I guess I'll stop putting out food.
Let's see. Is this half a corn dog?
Maybe, but I think what you're interpreting as corn is actually a fine coating of hair and cookie crumbs.
I'll just throw it away then.
Okay, hold on there. Just hold on a second. There might actually be a hot dog in there.
Gross. Okay, let's see. Promotional keychain in the shape of a mini feather tickler for 2015's 50 Shades of Grey. Promotional keychain for 2017's 50 Shades Darker. Oh, and a promotional keychain for 2018's 50 Shades Freed.
Ooh, okay, that's good. They're worth more if you have the set.
I am more than ever worried about what goes on in this chair.
Whatever, just give me my stuff.
So it's your position that anything under this chair is yours, and yours alone?
Solely and legally held in perpetuity by Ross Incorporated, LLC. Yes, 100%.
Great. Then you'll be happy to accept this bill for our joint Spacebridge Netflix subscription.
Oh, jeez. I guess you got me there, sure.
And this bill for my makeup.
What? You just put that under there.
Actually, you took it and you're using the back of the envelope to work on your 50 Shades of Grey fanfic entitled 50 Shades of Gay.
Thank you very much.
It's all in your handwriting. And you signed it to J. Rossington Johnstaford, which is one of your best known nom de plumes.
Darn it, you got me again.
Sorry, buddy. Rules are rules.
And where does Sherwin-Williams get away with charging these prices?
It's extortionate, but a girl's got to look her best.
So you like to do the eggshell then, I guess. That's interesting.
I'm more into a dove gray these days.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's all the rage.
Interesting. Hey, everybody, I'm Ross Johnson, your favorite co-host.
And I'm Heather Zykowski, the babe with the power. Welcome back to The Sound of Tomorrow. I've remembered the name of our program now. Here on WAYO LP Rochester.
The world's crashing down around our feet, but we're still here.
That's right. When we're still talking.
Like cockroaches, you can't kill us.
You can't. And hopefully we will still be talking in December of this year, Ross, because we have a really, really neat thing that we want to just tease a little bit here. We don't have a lot of details about it yet.
Is it Christmas?
Yes.
Nice.
Christmas is coming. The goose is getting fat.
Ooh.
Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you haven't got a penny, then a halfpenny will do.
All right.
If you haven't got a halfpenny, then God
I don't
bless
have
you.
any. I don't have any of those. None of that.
All right, then. We've established that Ross does not have a halfpenny. So, coming up this December, people who are keeping episode count of The Sound of Tomorrow, of official releases only, please don't point out all of the shows that we've done that have, for example, decimal points or numbers or things just called bonus or short, because we don't like to talk about that.
Right. We don't know what that is either.
We'll be coming up on a pretty big milestone for any kind of podcast. It'll be our 500th episode.
That is probably unheard of in the history of podcasts.
I think it is, unless you have like a daily show or something.
Right. We're very old.
We are so, well, you're youthful.
Yeah.
Me, I'm collecting up the age, scooping it up fast as I can. We're going to do a live event to celebrate. We're going to have a party to celebrate The Sound of Tomorrow's 500th show.
Oh, my.
And
that's what I say to that.
We're partnering with Wayo on it, they're being absolutely wonderful, and it's going to be a Wayo benefit, so that's really exciting. Might be a benefit for some other causes, but put this on your calendars. Thursday, December 15th at Photo City Music Hall. It's going to be The Sound of Tomorrow 500. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8. We're going to have some fun stuff, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Well, and at this point in planning, we also figure, maybe it'll just be, Ross and I will go on down there and we'll bring our old person stacks of CDs and we'll just DJ and it'll be a dance party. Hey, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. But we have some exciting acts in the works.
We do.
We are, there's hope here for something more than just Ross and Heather.
There is actually hope. And something I wanted to mention to all you space cadets out there, if you have a thing that you think you might want to do to be part of this show, drop us a line at jimmyspaceboy@gmail.com and we'll see what we can do with the scheduling.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
because this show is really about you, the listeners, because you've stuck with us. The three of you to whom I'm directing this have stuck with us for 500 shows.
Yeah.
Which I don't think even I've stuck. I haven't even stuck with this for 500 shows, so I don't know who. I don't know who I'm talking to here, but yeah.
I mean, I guess in a way, I have listened to every show. Yeah, I would say every show we've done because I've listened to the ones that you have done while I was away.
Okay.
Because I find you interesting, but I don't necessarily listen to the ones that I also am on a regular basis because I don't find me as interesting as I find you.
Well, I find you very interesting, but I don't find it interesting re-listening to our conversation.
I know.
But you know what? If you've been with us for 500 shows, well, I don't know how that's possible yet because it hasn't happened yet. But if you've been with us for 500 shows, or you've been with us for this one show and you just want to come on down, that's all right. This is not. We're not gatekeepers here. We're not Sound of Tomorrow fan person gatekeepers. We invite everyone. We're a broad umbrella. The Sound of Tomorrow tent. I'm mixing a lot of metaphors here, but you get me. You know what I'm talking about.
I have to say, I think the only gatekeeping we would be doing, we haven't talked about this yet, but I'm not sure if the venue is Vax only. This event's going to be Vax only.
Yeah. If I have anything to say about it, I will.
I think that's one of the few things that we have control over with this. No, actually, I think we have a lot of control with this, which is good. We like control, don't we?
So mark your calendars. Do it like I know it's a ways out. So do it like write yourself up, get out your calligraphy pen and write yourself up a little save the date on get a calligraphy pen and get some of that fancy paper, like maybe you have some old resume paper cause you're as old as us. And you can cut it in a quarter because it's not, wouldn't get a big thing. Get your calligraphy pen and write out a little message to yourself about the upcoming event and put it in an envelope. And then don't mail it to yourself. That seems like a waste of a stamp, but just you could put it in your mailbox and then you could get it tomorrow.
Yes, and then
So
take a magnet and put it on your fridge.
correct.
That's where
So
save the date cards go.
right. So that's all you got to do. And
Yeah.
then there we are.
And for anybody who's forgetful out there, that's Thursday, December 15th at Photo City Music Hall. Doors 7. Show starts at 8. What will the show be? We might leak more as we get things like actually nailed down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all top secret right now.
I know. It's fun though. I'm excited.
Topsy turvy.
Yeah, definitely topsy turvy.
Heather,
Ross,
you know what?
what?
Some things make me mad.
What? Us?
Some things make
Mad?
some things make me irritable. Um,
Really?
I so I am I have a little piece here that I wanted to talk about, and some of it's fairly basic, but I thought that a little bit of a conversation about this might be warranted because you know what? There's a lot of irritating stuff in the world right now, and
Sure is.
there's a lot of stuff we can't do anything about. There's also a lot of stuff that people tell us to do stuff about. There was another one of those pieces today about like, oh, if you want to buy a house, you need to
Oh no.
stop buying Netflix. It's like, okay, all right,
Those I
yeah.
those are irritating. They're very irritating.
So a lot of the times you see articles about stuff you can do to improve your life, and you're like, there's nothing I can do. You know who can improve my life is like Omnicorp can stop being jerks about stuff, and stop polluting the planet or whatever. But Lifehacker, my home base, and I did not write this piece myself, but Lifehacker had a piece recently called "These Habits Are Making You More Irritable. If you're feeling extra
Oh.
peevish, these common behaviors may be at fault" by Sarah Schofetti. So a lot of this is kind of basic, but I'm gonna throw some of these things out and
Oh
tell me
yeah, I
what you
want to
think
hear
because
them.
they, like I said, they're a little basic, but I also feel like they're the kind of things that a lot of this stuff I sort of need sometimes a stupid, not that this is a stupid article, but I need like a thing to tell me again. So number one, not going outside all day. Staying inside has a negative effect on mood. The absence of natural light upsets our natural circadian clock. That's according to Kenneth Wright, director of the Sleep and Chronobiology Laboratory at the University of Colorado
Ooh.
Boulder. So, the Kenneth Wright, the director, I'm going to say this again because I think this is like the coolest sounding job. Like it sounds like you're from the future. Kenneth Wright, director of the Sleep and Chronobiology Laboratory at UC Boulder, says we should get out, weather permitting, ideally for like 45 minutes in the morning is the best like time, and uh, you know, minimum 45 minutes as a minimum amount of time. The
Hmm.
morning is a good time to do it because you're
Morning.
sort of perking up your circadian rhythms and waking yourself up
And
and all that.
morning is a time of day, I seem to recall, yes?
That is it's not just an extension of night. No, correct. Yeah, it's
Interesting.
not just the epilogue to night.
Oh,
I find this hard to do in the morning
yes.
myself. But you're a get out and go gal, aren't you?
I used to be.
Okay.
I was doing really great when I first started working from home
Hmm.
with the habit of getting up, quick checking my email, making sure that there weren't like any major issues I had to deal with right then. Then I would just pour some coffee in a travel mug. I would take a beautiful brisk walk around the neighborhood. Nothing too long, just, a couple blocks. It wasn't a major hike, but it was the best
Yeah.
because I got some air, I got some light, I got to, look around, smell the breeze. But then it turned into winter, and then it turned into a pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and then I stopped taking all of my walks like I used to because I decided that I didn't want to see people at all at any point.
Yeah.
So I keep saying to myself now that it's getting so much nicer, gotta start that up again. I'm not as peevish about people. And I really should. I think it would improve absolutely everything for me. And it was funny because I wouldn't even bother about what I was wearing. I'd just throw on some clothes. I wouldn't worry about makeup. I'd put on a hat and sunglasses and off I went. So it didn't have to be a big production.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's sort of like the daily exercise, or it's like those things that it's really, when you're out of the habit, it's really hard to get back into the
Hmm.
habit. But when you do get back into the habit, you're like, oh wow, this really did make a difference.
Yeah.
This really did make my life less terrible. And I don't
Yes.
know what that is in our biology or our evolution that makes us like not always want to do those things that are
Yeah.
objectively like we know like we'll, you know, maybe one walk you don't feel better, maybe you do, maybe, one walk maybe you do or you don't, but after a couple days of the walk you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is making a big difference in my mood and my life. I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I know the working out thing
For
with
those
me.
that are able, of course,
Of course.
modify this for
Um
your own,
Absolutely. For me personally, over the years I have at times lapsed with a workout routine.
Mhm.
Oh boy, it's bad when I do that. Oh gosh, that is not a good thing at all for me to do. Things go much more poorly if I don't keep a workout schedule.
Yeah, and I sort of hate to be one of those people because I was never a consistent exerciser earlier in my life, but as I've gotten older, I've found it is, yeah, it's sort of, again, and it's not, I'm not somebody who loves, I'm not Mr. like, let's go exercise. Oh boy, I can't wait. I'm not one of those people. I'm really not. Really, really, really not. I'd much rather be doing just about anything, but it makes such a difference when I don't get at least that sort of
Yeah.
minimum exercise. And to not just the way I feel, but like I mean, not just the way I feel bodily, but just to like my mood and like my anger
Yeah.
level and my
Oh
sleep and
yeah.
everything. So,
I mean, for me it's all about my mood. I do want to
mhm.
keep like, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I want to try to keep strong and active and stuff like that because it's supposed to be good for a body. But yeah, when I said it gets really bad if I lose my workout routine, something about my brain chemicals just they change,
Yeah.
not for the better.
Yeah.
But see, maybe what you need to do, you have a little home gym area, right?
Hmm.
Put a TV in there.
Yeah. I do it. I mean, yeah, I do it. It's just,
Yeah, I
when
see. I'll
when I
admit,
don't, I notice.
I I sound like kind of a jerk, but also I love workout time because it's my TV time and I love
Yeah.
my shows. So I get all revved up like, oh boy, I get to watch more episodes of this.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, whatever motivates is, I think, worthwhile,
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm
I
genuinely
guess on a
psyched,
similar note, oh, sorry.
mm, go on.
Yeah. So on a similar note, skipping lunch. And I think this is probably a more general, like, this is a catch-all for making
Yeah.
sure you're meeting your body's nutritional requirements throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they may be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for sometimes not going from breakfast to dinner, or maybe not even that, it makes it makes a huge difference. According to the National Council for Mental Well-Being, it is well known that unhealthy eating patterns can cause mood swings, blood sugar fluctuations, and nutritional imbalances are often to blame. WebMD says when your blood sugar drops, your body tries to bring it up. It pumps out epinephrine, a fight or flight hormone that makes your heart race and your palms sweat, and it can make you feel cranky and anxious. If it stays there, your body will then produce the stress hormone cortisol. Put adrenaline and cortisol together, and you've got a recipe for anxiety. So, I think that nails down the, um, you know, when your blood sugar drops, this apocalypse now of competing like angry chemicals shooting through your body, all of which make you angry, which I certainly don't need more of.
No, I really don't need more of this. And I think this has been an issue for both you and me. I don't know how much we've talked about it on the show, but the blood sugar drop.
Well, and for me, it's the blood sugar drop, and then I like, then I like, oh, I'm gonna shove a bunch of crackers in my mouth, so then I get like the blood sugar high that turns into a blood sugar drop because I've not just eaten, a regular, regular healthy snacks or whatever it is, whatever works for my body. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
different, but that whatever that regular routine that you're listening to your body and like kind of what and when is best for you to eat. When I don't do that, and it's, it just, you get out of balance. Everything gets out of
Yes.
balance and everything feels out of balance.
Oh,
So it's a, and
yeah.
it
I've
makes you
had
grumpy and nobody
moments.
wants to be your friend.
really grumpy. I've had moments where I am, luckily, I've kind of figured this out. And in the recent past, I haven't yelled at anyone or anything like that.
Hmm.
But I've been just, for example, I'll be sitting there working and I start getting really, really angry over things that no one needs to be angry over. And
Yeah.
I'm just furious and I'm upset with the entire world. And then I realize, like, I'll realize, like, oh, yeah, how long has it been since you've eaten? And I'll go and I'll fix myself something. 3 bites in, I'm I'm like, yeah, oh, you're just hungry. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and it's sort of a not, the ideal thing is not to wait till it gets to that point. The ideal thing is to
Right.
keep your body on an even keel throughout the day. So that's, sometimes harder than it's, that's sometimes
Mhm.
that's easier said than done, but it can definitely affect your mood.
It
Um,
really, really can.
being overly I think this is one we've talked about plenty of times, being overly responsive to your phone. And they
Mm.
quote a few different figures here from between 46 times a day to 344 times a day, which I think is probably closer to accurate. The amount of times Americans across all age groups check their phones on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Um, as psychiatrist Dr. Timothy Jeter uh, told the Huffington Post, after we have gone down the rabbit hole, we kick ourselves for getting distracted and wasting time, which frustrates us, undermines our focus and productivity. So we seek out a distraction from frustration, and the cycle of many frustrations repeats, building on the last. And I think that's, it's sort of a combination too, because I think I wasn't even thinking about it from the point of view that the doctor mentions there of like, oh, I'm wasting time and now I'm frustrated that I'm wasting time. It's
Mm.
also what you're absorbing from your phone is usually a lot of times it's, particularly if you're checking your phone that often, it's social media.
Mhm.
So it's of some kind or another. So it's stuff where you're getting, you're either getting really, you're getting either stuff that's designed to make you angry, or you're getting stuff that's designed to make you to stimulate you in some way or another. Or you're getting, or even the, and we've seen too, even the nice happy stuff where people just post pictures of their vacation or whatever can also have a deleterious impact, because you start thinking like, why is everybody else's life so great?
Mhm.
Because of course everybody's, putting their best foot forward for social media. So you start comparing other people's ideal lives with your actual life. And that can cause feelings of inadequacy and all sorts of things. So I think there's a whole big, these phones, man, it's a
Yeah.
dark tunnel.
It really is. And I'm thinking even of, like, how often I check my phone for messages.
Hmm.
And I think that that might not be exactly what was meant in the don't check your phone so often, but even just that repeated, like, oh, messages, the messages, the messages. You know, I was talking about this with a friend not too long ago. I usually have my phone on so it makes a noise when I get like an update from the few things that I've programmed it to make a little noise for.
Hmm.
And a lot of that is just because otherwise I'm simply going to be touching the screen the entire day to see if
Yeah.
anybody sent me anything.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and that's a slightly different angle too. That whole, I mean, there have been studies about that too. The sort of like burst of, is it serotonin, like the little burst of serotonin you
Mm-hmm.
get when you get a little like or something like that, and then you become sort of addicted to
Yes.
that, and then when you don't get it you feel dragged down
Right.
because you're not getting that little burst of like, somebody liked
Yes.
my picture.
Oh,
um
and everybody does it. I posted a really cute picture of Nigel. And of
mhm,
course, like 2 seconds later, I'm checking back. I'm like, oh, who liked the picture of my cat? Like,
yeah.
it's not good. I understand why I do it. And I understand I get that little, like, oh, oh, that feels nice. That's
Hmm.
good. It's probably not great.
Yeah, it's really not. I'm really like, I usually, I mean, with most stuff I'm sort of like, with most stuff my attitude tends to be like, it's like the stuff about like, the rock music and the kids and the rock, there's always something like in every time period, every generation, there's always something that people are like, oh, this is the thing that's going to ruin everything.
Yes.
Books are ruining people because they're just sitting around reading books all day. There's always like all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. um But I do sort of feel like, and as much as I'm in the same boat with everybody else, so I am no better than anybody else on the planet, and probably worse than an awful lot of people on this. I think phones and social media stuff are like genuinely sort of really
Yeah.
bad. More so even than books and rock music. Um, and this next one is a similar vein, especially the direction we've taken it. Reading or watching emotionally draining things before bed. Whether it's doom scrolling social media and taking on the mental shrapnel of the day's latest depressing news, or watching the latest installment of your favorite true crime series, both can take a toll on your mood. So, and the article, the piece suggests try limiting news and social media consumption to 2 or 3 specific times per day, or instituting a no news after 6 p.m. rule. And I think that's not. I mean, I think people's, for some people, like a true crime podcast or something is going to be
Right. That's
relaxing
like
before bedtime.
relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do. And I think like Mike learned this about me because I started to sort of implement this myself. And then I started like almost demanding like compliance from my spouse in terms of like, I don't want to talk about anything stressful right now. And for him, but he's totally different because for him, it helps him like get it off his plate before he goes to bed. Like if there's something, maybe, not the weightiest thing, but if there's something a little more weighty, for him, it helps him sleep to sort of, okay, I've put that out in the world. I can rest now. Whereas for me, that's like, that just risks like something I'm going to be thinking about and I won't be able to get to sleep. So, people are very different there, but.
Oh no. Can I ask how you two balance that?
Oh, we don't. It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
It's a nightmare. No, it's a disaster. I mean, mostly like it's a lot of Mike saying something and me going, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm going to bed.
Oh no.
like a giant baby. Yeah.
See, a thing happened recently. Because I also try not to check the news before bed. I try not to do anything terribly stressful, though I'll admit I do turn on the news on the radio.
Okay.
It's usually fine, though. It's just like the BBC World News usually, because I stay up way too late sometimes. But the other night I was reading before bed, and there's a really, 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 really sad part of the book I was reading.
Okay.
And it was not good. I was like crying all over the place. I think that's probably not what they meant there, but because that just happened recently, I was like, oh, if only I hadn't read that sad thing before I went to sleep.
No, I know what you mean though, because we're both bedtime readers, and usually that is a totally relaxing thing, sort of no matter what. But every so often, either combination of my frame of mind and what I'm reading, it's either there'll be something like that where I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't read that before I go to bed.
I know.
Usually it's, for me, it's less something upsetting than, I don't know, just something more generally stimulating. I don't know, something that I can't put out of my head. So it's almost like if it's too good, I can't. I shouldn't have read it before bed. But I think it's more based on my frame of mind at the time as well. So that's just a hazard that is going to happen from time to time.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Yeah, and then the great but terrible hazard of the book is just way too exciting to put down, and so you keep doing the just one more chapter. Just one more chapter. Oh, just one more. And then all of a sudden it's way, 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 way later than you meant to go to sleep. And
yeah.
But that is kind of fun when that happens.
It is. And the last one in this list, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
Do you?
Yes. I don't think you're going to like this one.
Okay. I'm ready.
Don't think you're going to like it.
I'm ready.
Drinking too close to bedtime.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is fairly well understood that alcohol can help you to fall asleep, but it reduces rapid eye movement sleep, which is the most restorative. So it can help you fall asleep, but it also will tend to make you not sleep nearly as well. And particularly your sleep in the second half of the night will be more, more disturbed than the first. So the piece suggests, having your cocktails maybe a little little earlier in the evening than right before bed.
Interesting. And on it,
Interesting.
that's interesting. It's definitely true.
Fascinating.
Well, the other thing, I actually was not sure if it was going to be drinking alcohol or drinking anything, because
Well,
I've also heard people say you shouldn't drink water right before bed
yeah,
because then you'll wake up because you need to use the bathroom. And that's
right.
another thing I also do.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm a little, and this isn't like an old person thing because I think I've just always been like this, but I'm a little cautious about because I really do not want to get up in the night and go to the bathroom. I just don't want to do it. It's too much work. I'm too tired. I'm too sleepy. So I'm pretty cautious about how much liquid I drink before I go to bed.
I guess that just varies from person to person. I've really heard people come down strong on like, no, you should never drink before bed. And then other people sit there going like, but I don't mind waking up to use the bathroom. It's fine. I go right back to sleep.
Yeah, and if you're sleeping fine, I think that's fine. But obviously, I don't know if this is something anybody needs to be told. Like, if you pee a lot during the night and you don't enjoy it, then you should maybe not drink as much, before bed.
Right.
Try that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind or, your bladder can take it, then go for it. I don't know if that's advice anybody needs. I feel like people can figure out how much they pee. You can probably do that math. So, and that's
Well,
it.
while we're helping people on the Sound of Tomorrow today, Ross,
Yeah.
I have an article from NPR that is 6 tips to help you overcome your fear of flying.
What?
And I thought this was interesting because if I understand correctly, neither you nor I are afraid of flying.
No, not particularly.
I mean, kind of, we get more, I think, terrified of TSA screening and that they're going to take all
Right.
of our stuff and maybe touch us.
Right. Like I'm terrified of going through the airport, but
Yeah, once I'm on the plane, I'm fine. It's like home free.
yeah.
Probably
Oh
nobody's
yeah,
going to touch me now. That's great.
that's the best
Um,
part. I'm like, okay, done. Good. Good.
so I was
Yeah.
like, this is interesting because I like this article, but it doesn't really apply to us. However, what I thought I would try today is applying this overcoming your fear of flying to me overcoming my extreme fear of bridges,
Okay.
which I learned today. I had to look up the pronunciation on this. It's gephyrophobia.
Okay.
Gephyrophobia. I had to write it out phonetically. It's not a word that I could sound out. Gephyrophobia. I got it. Real bad. Anybody who's tried to cross a bridge with me, we know how sideways that can go.
Oh, it's wild. Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
pick on you, but I have that weird thing about holes that I can't even remember the name of, so I get it. We've all got weird stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've only got a little teeny bit of that.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah, that looks, yeah, no, that's,
Ooh,
yeah,
getting chills. Getting chills just thinking about holes.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember what that one's called. Something with a T, I thought.
Yeah. And those things that come in plants sometimes and they've got
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
little
yeah.
holes in them. Ooh.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
making me itch.
I
Yeah,
know. It's terrible.
I mean, that's the thing. A lot of these things, they're phobias. So
Yeah.
they're, in the meaning of the word, they're an irrational fear
Yeah.
of something that is not necessarily scary. And there's not
Sure.
really a reason to be so scared, but it's irrational. So we're going to see if there's anything I can do about this fear of bridges.
Okay.
This is by Becky Harlan and Mansi Khurana. 6 tips help you overcome your fear of flying, fear of bridges, perhaps fear of fear. They do have a little statistic that 40% of Americans feel some fear at the thought of flying, and 2.5 to between 2.5 and 6.5% of people in the US actually have a phobia about it.
Okay.
So the first thing they recommend in this article is talk yourself down from dread. And it says here that if you think that planes are dangerous, look up a lot of statistics on plane safety and how rarely really planes crash compared to how often they fly.
Yeah.
And that should be reassuring. It's one of the safest modes of long distance travel. Now for me, I do have a statistic here. This isn't going to work for me to look up statistics about bridges because I looked up very quickly. How often do bridges collapse? Which is
Mhm.
one, it's only part of my phobia. My gephyrophobia is multi-layered and complex, as phobias usually are. So only one part is that the bridge is going to collapse. But from the Utah State University Digital Commons at USU, which is some kind of research database, there's a bite that I pulled saying there's an estimated average annual bridge collapse rate in the United States, and it's between 87 and 222, with an expected value of 128. It's a lot more bridge collapses than I thought I was going to find out about.
I'm I'm going to back you up on this because I was trying to find you were as you were giving the percentages of people who had phobias about flying. I was trying to see really quickly if I could find a similar number for people who have fear of bridges, and I could not. But
Gephyrophobia.
gephyrophobia. It did not. But if I go to the but I wound up on the Wikipedia page for gephyrophobia, and the see also section is clearly designed to push you over the edge because it's the first one is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapse, and then the second see also is list of bridge disasters, and then list of structural failures and collapses, and then list of phobias just in case you want to find some other stuff. So
yeah. So yeah, I honestly, when I got this idea that I was going to apply this fear of flying to my gephyrophobia, I was so confident that I would Google how often do bridges collapse, and my cursory Google search would say almost never. Honestly, you don't need to worry about it one bit. No, my cursory Google was like, yeah, that's the thing.
all right,
More often than you thought, really.
okay,
So
maybe you're onto something.
So with talking yourself down from dread, it works for fear of flying. I would recommend if you feel any kind of way about bridges, don't look up too much about those or you're going to feel even worse. Face your fear repeatedly, but in small doses. I have definitely heard that I should do this for my gephyrophobia.
Sure. Hold on. Sorry, my little darling dogs have been left home alone all day, and they think that's their cue to just start screaming at delivery people. So,
yeah, I mean that is their clue. They're allowed to scream anytime they want.
as you were saying,
So exposure therapy for the gephyrophobia. It's been suggested to me by people who actually know about this thing that I just try to walk across bridges like a lot until I'm much more inured to it. They suggest in this article with the fear of flying that what you could do, and I think this is so cute, um, to kind of calm yourself down and get yourself less anxious about planes, you could, number one, watch YouTube videos of planes taking off. Number
okay.
2, watch videos of planes actually flying. Number 3, listen to audio of a flight in turbulence. Number 4, go to the airport and watch planes take off. And number 5 is get on a plane. And they say that,
in this economy,
if you want to work on your fear without having to buy a plane ticket, you can try virtual reality exposure therapy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think if I start looking up too many videos of bridges on YouTube, I'm going to see a lot of bridge collapses. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to I don't know if there are a lot of videos of bridges just kind of being.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen absolutely terrifying footage of people like filming themselves on glass bridges over ravines, like sightseeing things.
Mm-hmm.
Those make me like seriously, I get vertigo and my hands get sweaty and like my breath changes. I can't. Like the last time I had to cross a long bridge, my hands were so sweaty I started thinking I was going to drop my phone. Like it was terrible. So this is another good one for my gephyrophobia. When you're crossing the bridge, when you're taking your flight, distract yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the suggestions for being on the flight is try doing crossword puzzle or Sudoku, read a really juicy romance novel, get through a bunch of paperwork, just keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
For me, crossing a bridge, I would think that that would be, maybe I could get a treat. Like if I happen to be out in a town on vacation, I could go get an ice cream and walk across the bridge. Or
Yeah,
maybe having a
like
conversation with a friend.
yeah, or like I don't know if you were listening to a good song or something on the or a podcast or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, something fun.
Yep, just something other than oh no, 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 oh no.
Right.
It's
Yeah, like nothing
terrible.
about bridge statistics, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's bad. Um, this this isn't going to help me on a bridge, because if there's turbulence on a bridge, I'm sunk. Like,
Mm.
forget it. But for fear of flying, it's if you hit turbulence, don't force yourself to calm down. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that turbulence isn't necessarily a thing that I think everybody is phobic about.
Mm.
Even for people who are pretty calm on airplanes, I know I've been on a couple flights where it's disconcerting how much
Um
turbulence is happening.
yeah, I mean sometimes it's legit scary, sure.
Yeah, and for me, since I'm not afraid of flying, I'll just go like, well, yeah. I mean, this is fine. It's not usually dangerous.
Mhm.
I don't love it. It's fine. But it's suggested here in the article that instead of trying to deny what's going on with you and that you are very, very afraid, you could try labeling your feelings and say like, I'm really scared. And you can remind yourself that your body's having a normal response to a perceived threat,
Mhm.
which, it says here in the article, it's different than feeling the anxiety by going like, oh, the plane's going to crash. Oh, we're all going to die. And sometimes it can be useful. I have used this with my gephyrophobia, just to say to people like, yeah, I'm really, really scared right now. And I try to keep calm about it, but just, that's what's going on with me.
Yeah.
This, I don't know, this isn't going to work for bridges either, but consult with a doctor about medication. There are a lot of people who can get an anti-anxiety prescription that they just use when they're taking a flight.
Yeah.
It does say here, whatever you do, don't self-medicate or mix prescription pills with alcohol. This is definitely
Yeah.
a talk with your doctor if you feel like you want medicine to help you through the stress of a flight.
Especially when you got to pay attention to walking over that bridge.
I
It's
know.
not like it's become
Whoa.
self-fulfilling. Um, well, I guess
And
this wouldn't help on bridges either. Like what I do when things that I don't have a ton of fear of, on airplanes, but when the turbulence gets a little wild, I always sort of look to the crew and see like I guess I don't know if like would seeing other people on bridges not freaking out. I guess that wouldn't help unless the bridge were experiencing turbulence. But um, you know, I don't know if that would. I guess that probably doesn't help much either. I always look to the crew like, oh, is the crew panicking? If not, then we're probably fine. They're probably used to this.
yeah, no, it doesn't really help because I don't know anybody else who has the trouble with bridges that I do. But when I see them, I mean, if someone helps me, that is actually helpful. Like if someone is willing to like let me take their arm
Okay.
as we cross the bridge, that helps a lot.
If you saw a bridge inspector or a structural engineer on the bridge and you look to that person and you saw like they're not panicking. I don't know.
No, no, I
I
don't
guess it's
think
not
that would help.
analogous at all. Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't help.
All
That
right,
wouldn't
fine.
help. And I will tell you what really doesn't help is when someone finds out I'm afraid of bridges and then they decide they think it would be funny to start like jumping around,
Oh, that's true.
yelling, see it's perfectly safe as they're leaping all over the place. That's a way to make everything worse.
Especially when you're on those rope bridges.
Oh my
That's like
God.
really, that's a real problem.
Oh, I feel like I had to go over one of those way back when I went to the Girl Scout camp. And I think it was called the rubber band bridge. So the point of it was to jump.
Sure.
And I seem to remember, but I didn't know. Like it took me a long time to understand that I had a genuine fear of bridges and it was an actual thing. Um, I seem to remember being terrified but I couldn't
Yeah.
say anything. At least now I'm grown up and I could be like, yeah, terrified of bridges. Don't ask me. It's a
Yeah,
phobia.
and I think in general, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist or any type of person who's knowledgeable about anything at all. But I think, acknowledging and naming a fear and understanding a fear it's an important step.
I think
It's better.
so.
It's better than not.
Yeah. Yeah. Because up, I don't even know how long ago I realized, like, oh, this is a thing. What would happen would be I would be in the middle of a bridge and I'd just start feeling like dizzy and weird and I'd get sweaty, but then I'd be angry with myself. I'm like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong?
Yeah.
Why is this? And so at least once I named it, like, oh, look at that. You're afraid of bridges.
Yeah.
It helped.
Yeah. I've got things like that, and I've had things that Mike has sort of pointed out to me, or like where there's just a trait that I was sort of annoyed with myself about, but I didn't have it nailed down. And then, once it was sort of pointed out to me, it was like, oh, okay, I do that. And then, was able to find like, oh, this is a thing. Like this is a legitimate thing that other people experience as well. It doesn't, it doesn't make it go away, but um, at least you can be aware. And in some cases, with behaviors, it's things like, oh, maybe you can avoid the stimulus that's going to make you
Mm-hmm.
make you stressed out. I guess it's harder to avoid bridges, but
But even understanding what's going on and having, like I said, it does really help if someone lets me hold their arm or like
Mhm.
if someone is willing to walk more toward the outside edge of the bridge. At
Okay.
least now that I understand what's happening, if I'm with someone and I can say, like, hey, by the way, here's a fun fact about me. Can you help me get across this bridge?
I would appreciate a piggyback ride, for instance, is
No,
a thing you
no,
might
no,
say.
no, 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 no,
Oh
no.
no, that's
No, I
bad.
might
Okay.
fall off. What
No,
if I
don't do
fall
it.
off over the edge of the bridge? Oh, no, 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 don't try to carry me across the bridge. I told you it was multi-layered.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sweaty.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with you. What if it was low down? Like what if I put you on like a skateboard and like pushed you that way?
Maybe.
But
It
you're well
depends.
below like the level of
Yeah, where I could fall
the
off.
bars, yeah.
Maybe. It depends also. If the bridge is just a road, maybe I
Mhm.
could ride across it. If the bridge, I don't even know how I'd get across one of those metal ones where you can actually see through them.
Oh, you and Eliana. You and Eliana both.
Oh, and she and I are so fierce and brave.
I'll tell you what helped Ileana, because there's a bridge in our neighborhood that we could like never go to the other part of the neighborhood because Ileana would never do it. I'll tell you what helps is if you have someone to just put you on a rope, and as Mike eventually did because he got fed up, and just kind of drags you across a couple times,
Oh,
and then you're
God.
just like, oh, this was fine. So maybe you just need someone to drag you, to put a harness on you and drag you across.
Maybe I do. I
Yeah.
might. I might. I don't think I want that to happen. Last time I saw one of those bridges, luckily it was just it was one of those weird situations where it was like, oh, there's one of those bridges. Do you think you can step on that? I didn't need to cross it. There was
Oh,
just one
okay.
present. And so it was an experiment. No, I could not step on it.
Okay.
I kept trying. I couldn't make my body do it.
Do you think you could get over that? Like, I mean, not get over it, but do you think you could desensitize yourself to that?
I have no idea.
All right.
I hope I haven't told this story on the show before. I had, I mean, it's a bad phobia. There was when I used to work at the office downtown, I had to cross a very small bridge. The
Yeah.
Mighty Genesee is not that wide
Right.
to walk to the office. So it was one of those days my car was in the shop. I was going to walk to the office. It was all fine. Everything was great. I had all my stuff. I'd given myself plenty of time, pleasant day. I wasn't even thinking about the bridge.
Hmm.
And I went to step onto the bridge and my body stopped.
Yeah.
And it took my mind a sec to be like, oh, you're going to do this now. and my body wouldn't go. And I kept trying to, like, I was lurching. Like, that's how bad this is. Finally, I had to just like force my body across, much like somebody put me on a harness, but I was the one who put myself on a harness. But like, I couldn't even
Mm,
walk straight, and I was getting so sweaty, and I was swearing, and I couldn't stop. And I'm sure anybody who saw me thought that there is something profoundly wrong with me, which obviously there is, but not the way they were thinking.
right.
I was
Yeah,
shot for the rest of the day. It like took all of my energy.
I do find it is the times when you're completely not expecting it, when
Yeah,
you're like not thinking about it. And you think like it doesn't even occur to you to be worried or upset
right.
about anything because you think everything's fine. And then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I forgot this was a thing until just now.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It's
was
when it gets you the worst.
it really did, cuz I was running through my plans. I was thinking about what I was going to eat. Like that bridge was the farthest thing from my mind, but my body sure knew it was
Yeah.
there. So the last one on this list is work through your discomfort by focusing on why you're crossing that bridge in the first place or why you're taking that airplane. You know, if you're really, really
When
scared
you
to
had to
fly,
cross that
maybe
bridge to
it's,
work,
I know, think about why I'm going to work.
that's not gonna
Jeepers.
help you. That's not gonna help at all.
No, but often when I run into big bridge situations, I'm in some other city that has like a lot of big, 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 big bridges. And if I'm in
Hmm.
another city with big bridges, that usually means I'm on vacation.
Okay.
And so then, like, maybe I'm crossing the bridge because I want to go to this cool restaurant where I'm going to get good food to eat
Right.
or something like that. And, you know, with being on a plane, if you're going towards something that matters, it can kind of help be like, okay, well, it's worth it to be on this plane because I'm going on this vacation or I'm going to visit that friend or that relative.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the one thing out of this that might actually help you,
I know.
right?
Yeah. Well, the exposure therapy, if somehow every day, and it wouldn't be hard because sometimes even like highway overpasses make me scared. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be a big bridge. If I started taking my morning walks and just made sure that I had to go over the highway a couple times, that might help if I made myself do it again and again.
Yeah. Well, and again, the option stands, and this would have to be with full consent, but as Ileana, I think, did not have. But I think the option also stands is that we could put you in a harness and just I could just drag you across something. So I mean, that's think about it,
Oh.
give
Have
it a
you
thought.
forgotten have you forgotten how sturdy I am?
You're
Do you think you
sturdy,
could
but
drag me?
so is Ileana. So if we can get her across a
That's true.
bridge, like I think you're probably on par, you two, for your sturdiness. So I would say, if we could do it with her, we could do it. And now she's fine. Now she's like la la la. In fact, the first time I went that way because I was like, she'll never go over that bridge, and Mike was like, no, she does now. She was like la la, look what I can do. So maybe someday there's hope
Wow.
that you'll just be like, look what I can do. I can go over this bridge.
You know, there might be. It would be nice. I think it would be very nice for me. I think it would be nice for a lot of people who sometimes spend time with me.
Yeah,
Because
because they
pretty
could
much
cross a bridge with you.
pretty much everybody I know has had to contend with this at some point.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame. Like even the most patient people, I would imagine are a little like, wish we could just get across this bridge without it being a thing.
I would never say that that was the case, but sure.
That's nice. You
It's
and I have
nice to.
crossed bridges.
Yeah, we have.
We're not really supposed to. It's not great for either of us. I have
No.
much worse problems though.
um, well, I think. Well, I guess. Good luck to say. I don't know what else to do. Maybe short of maybe you can get some prescription medication that you can take a pill and then wait 20 minutes before you cross a bridge, and then hope it wears off real fast. I guess that would be the other option. But this is a
I
tricky
know.
one. You've got a tricky one.
It is. It is a tricky one.
I guess if they were easy, they wouldn't be problems, right?
That's right. Yes. And if it weren't irrational, it wouldn't be a phobia.
Yep,
I don't
exactly.
have a lot of control over this one. Gephyrophobia. I finally learned how to
Gephyrophobia.
say it. I can't believe I didn't look up the pronunciation till today.
Yeah, I would look up that thing about holes, but then it's going to show pictures of things with
Yeah, it is.
lots of little holes, and I'm not going to like it. So,
No,
um,
no, those are gross. Space
everybody,
Cadets, thanks for tuning in.
we like it when
We
you do
like it a
that.
lot. We super appreciate it. Coming up next on Wayo is something really fantastic, so stick around. And don't forget to mark your calendars for SOT 500. That's Thursday, December 15th. Photo City Music Hall, doors 7. Show starts at 8. If you have something you might want to put on as part of the show, drop us a line at jimmyspaceboy@gmail.com. We'll read your email.
We'll read it. That's as far as we're willing to commit, but we'll read it. Sure.
That was a truthful statement
Yep.
from Ross and Heather at the Sound of Tomorrow. We'll read your email.
Thanks, everybody.
So, under your chair, I also found a half empty bucket of canola oil and used DVDs of all the human centipede movies.
Well, yeah, and frankly, this is very, of course, I have those things. It's very reasonable. And given the coarse roughness of your coat lately, I might suggest that you also start thinking about getting you some canola oil.
What goes on in this chair?
You don't see any problems with my coat, do you?
Your coat looks great. It's so shiny.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all the canola oil and hot dogs.